Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Good morning and welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. I'm not saving souls, I'm saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I save a soul along the way, don't hold it against me. We just call it icing on the cake. We are on a mission here, building businesses, putting people to work. It's a tall order, but somebody's got to do it. And I'm glad to take on the challenge because that's my raison d'etre, my reason for being, my purpose, my mission. And thank you for joining me today because you're part of my mission too. Because I'm going to talk about something today, something called relationships. It isn't personal. What is business and it's personal, but man, let me tell you, if you're not taking advantage of relationships and you are in business, you are missing out and you're probably not going to make it. I mean, I hate to be a doom and gloomer, but this thing is not for the weak of heart, and it's definitely not to be done alone. You need these relationships, and I'm going to tell you about it today. I'm going to tell you why you need them, how you get them, how you nurture them, and why you shouldn't be jumping from one relationship to another at the drop of a hat. Some of y'all, the first little slight, you're ready to jump off and run off in the woods and go somewhere else. You're jumping from person to person, business to business, and wondering why things aren't clicking. If you know anything about relationships, and we will show you today, you're going to find out why that just doesn't work. Welcome, everybody. I'm Robert Gatewood. I am a business developer by trade. I develop businesses. That's what I do for a living. Been doing it for 30 years. I spent many years in corporate America, learning my trade, cutting my teeth, as they say. I've been in the smoky boardrooms and I've worn the big hats, the vice president of this and the senior vice president of that. All that stuff doesn't mean jack if you don't get that information. Well, I did get the information. I'm willing to share it with you. To small businesses, particularly now on this Small Business Month. That's right. This is the month of May. It's Small Business Month. So all you small business owners out there, let's support each other. Let's help each other out. Let's go to each other's Facebook and Twitter accounts. Well, it's X now. Let's like and share and engage. Let's chop at each other's chops. Let's partner and let's build these relationships. Just because we're small businesses, that's all the more reason we should build relationships so that we can become a business behemoth. That's a big word for you, right? A business, what's a big organization? Okay, we pool our resources together. I'm also an adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College. I teach courses on marketing and digital marketing and social media, and networking, all kind of good stuff over there. I've been doing that for 30 years, 25 years. I've written a couple of books on the subject of marketing and business development, one called Smarter Than the Boss and one called Played in Full. And I've spent a lot of time in the government space with the Small Business Administration as a consultant in the technology area. So I've been at this for a minute, but I'm willing to share it with you today and every Friday at 10:30 a.m. I'll give you a quick tech tip today. You ever get those, I'm sure if you're on Facebook and you have a business account and you're trying to do advertising, you always get these little tips from Meta. Well, I'm telling you, go ahead and look at those. I'm just telling you right now, they're trying to sell you something usually, but think about it this way. Facebook is not going to make it, nor is Google or any of these big organizations, if they don't have people like us out here bringing them traffic and buying their advertising. So they're telling you this information, giving you this information pretty much to help you help them. So it's a little quid pro quo, a little, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. So I got this one tip the other day, and I thought it was a good one, worth sharing with you. So if you're doing a Facebook advertising, and I've been spending a lot of time telling people, you got to target, you got to sharpen that pencil and go right after your niche. Yes, you want to do that ultimately, but what Facebook is advising you to do is to go after a broader audience when you first start your advertising campaign. Because we talked about algorithms. I did a show a couple of weeks ago on algorithms. And what you want to do is let Facebook get you keyed into the right algorithm, which means when you're doing an advertisement campaign, even though most of your clients may be women, they may be a certain age, they may be in a certain geographic area, you might broaden that target when you first launch the campaign and let Facebook help you key in on those key demographics, those key geographics, those key psychographics. And because what happens by broadening your audience, you're going to have deeper insight. Okay, you can learn from people. You can learn from let the machines do what they do, and you can maximize your campaign performance by showing it to more people. And for better results, when you do that ad, go down into that. There's a little button down there called Advantage Plus Audience. Leave that enabled when you run your ad, and that's where you're going to get better testing, better algorithms, and so forth. Just a little quick tech tip today. I'm trying to keep pointing those out to you because people are doing this advertising now. One thing I like about advertising, most of the time they're just too small unless you're doing a very, very cottage, tight-knit to bring in strangers. That was my first lesson I learned in business. First of all, we got to have a very big family. So I probably more so than most people, I could live off my family for quite a while. But even with 14 kids in my family, I'm going to run out of those pretty soon. So I learned I have to go out here and bring in new people. And so I had my own little rule that I set for myself. I said, I'm going to know I'm really in business when I get a name of a client that I can't pronounce. That way I know it's not Gatewood or Smith or Johnson or something like that. So I sent out this direct mail campaign. I get this call from this guy, and his name came up on the caller ID, and it was Magia. Hey, Mr. Magia. Well, make a long story short, his name was Mahia, and a nice gentleman over in Iverson Mall, and they own this place called Tiffany's Bakery, and they became my first true client that had a name I couldn't pronounce. And so my point is, yes, advertise, continue to advertise, and be bold about it, but be smart about it. Let's see what else is going on. So if you haven't already, go to the business directory, get your name in that business directory at mpi.bz. You can also get it on the Marketing Pulpit website. There's a button up there that says Marketing Pulpit Business Directory. And we're actually introducing people to each other. I'm going to tell you what happens. What happens, people are always coming up to me saying, Gatewood, do you know a plumber? Do you know an attorney? Do you know a hair place? Do you know a real estate agent? Do you know this or that? And of course, I know a lot of them, but I'm a busy guy. Okay, I can't be your walking referral source. Well, I can, but I do it by virtue of my business directory. So go to mpi.bz, and you can find services there that you may need. If you need a good real estate agent, a good attorney, if you need somebody who's doing for estate planning, if you need somebody for intellectual property, if you need a good real estate agent, you need a good hair place, you need somebody to help you lose weight, you need a therapist, go to mpi.bz. And while you're there, put your name in that directory on this small business month so we can support you. Okay, got a lot going on today. Let's see. Welcome everybody who's tuning in for the first time. I see some of my regular folks. I see Mr. Gerald Brown of Eternity Plumbing. Welcome, brother. Glad to see you this morning. And if you want to get a shout out, just drop your name in the feed and I'll be glad to shout you out. We're broadcasting this show. I see we are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on X, and we're on Instagram. We got a big one. Try to get this on many places as possible. We also started this show on Radio 1 back in 2010. And so that's been, 14 years? Wow, we've been at this for a long time. And thank you again, everybody who's been tuning in and supporting the show. And for the new people, come on in. It's never too late. You can go back and get the past shows at marketingpulpit.com. We also have them archived on YouTube. And you can also follow us on Facebook, and you'll see the shows there. And we do have on Instagram, we have some kind of a little, some of the things that we've been doing, some of the clips from some of the shows, and things like that. A lot of good reels. If you, like a lot of us, have a short attention span, you don't want to watch an entire hour or half-hour show, you might just check out some of the 1 minute and 30-second reels that we run. Also, folks, if you're out here advertising and you're in this social media world, you got to get on the reels. Reels are hot right now. That's a product of Facebook and Instagram. Also, TikTok, they are hot right now. And so, of course, YouTube is doing this thing. They have the shorts and the clips. Also, if you want to just get a short, quick version of what's going on, then use video. Video is hot right now. It's one of those trends in social media and marketing in general. Let's see what else is going on. We're going to talk about some items in the news today. Boy, this news is just going to blow your mind. It is so much stuff going on between Uber, these graduations, protests on campus. Oh, well, let's start out with this FAMU, Florida A&M University. They've been in the news lately. They got this, somebody left them this $237 million donation. And everybody was all excited and jumping up and down and hollering and high-fiving. And the guy that made the donation, he was actually, let him do one of the commencement addresses. President up there with a big old check. You seen those big old checks they give you when you hit the lottery? Well, of course, fam, you thought they'd hit the lottery. Tell you, boy, that's why we're going to talk about partnerships today and trust. You can't trust everybody. Sometimes you have to hold that circle a little closer, and you have to vet people. Find out the gift to FAMU was not a check, it was actually some stock. And the president, Larry Robertson, is now kind of moonwalking, saying I should have done a better job. The board of directors is ticked off at him because one of the board members up there on the stage with that big old fake check, and her reputation feel like it's been in tatters because the president and the board and the people who accepted this check didn't do their due diligence. So this guy, Gregory Jeremy, a hemp farmer, donated $237,000 in stock to the company. We found out he had done this before, and other organizations had turned it down because they realized this was not really sound. And so, of course, FAMU now is under the microscope that they didn't do their due diligence. Man, let me tell you, I can't tell you how many times. That's another reason we're talking about partnerships. We're going to talk about trust and vetting. I can't tell you how many times I get approached in a week. Not as much now because I've kind of weeded out a lot of the people who've been hitting me up. But people will hit you up and they will bring you their pipe dreams, and they will make it sound like they're about to make you the next millionaire. If I received a nickel for every person that said they're going to make me a millionaire, I would have made a millionaire off nickels alone. Folks, everybody who comes along, what's the old saying? If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. I've had people to pop up and say, look, you have one of those domains that I really, really want. Here's $25,000. What you have to do is go to this website or call this person or do this or that or that. If it seems too good, just do your due diligence. And if nothing else, just go to Google. Just Google the person. If you get a letter, here's a quick tip. You get a letter and You can just copy and paste the entire letter into Google and see if it comes up. And you'd be surprised that that letter sometimes has been already acknowledged as a scam letter. So just take the letter, a couple of lines off the letter, take it over to Google, pop it into your search, and then you see that letter pop up about 20 different places. You just change the name and rinse and repeat. Anyway, FAMU, we got to do better. Anyway, the first head has rolled on that. This Shanta Frady Shroud, Vice President of University Advancement for FAMU, has resigned over this debacle. And so I have a feeling there's going to be some more fallout over this. What else is happening in the news? Angie Harmon, an actress, she is suing Instacart because delivery driver shot her dog outside her home in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, that's down my old neck of the woods. She said the driver came to the house, and it's not funny. The driver came to the house. The dog, I guess, these dogs jump out from behind the bushes that run out the door. Well, anyway, this guy was packing and shot the dog. Well, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, why are so many people carrying guns these days? Do you want your Instacart driver coming to your house carrying a gun? Well, one, if you have a dog, obviously not. But for other reasons, he might trip and fall, or the thing might fall out of his pocket and go off. Guns. Hey, what's up with all these guns? Speaking of guns, a Texas pizza delivery driver shot and killed a customer on Sunday. He said he was trying to rob him. They got to this address. The male suspect pulled a gun on him. The driver feared for his life, pulled out a gun, shot the customer. I'm not sure that's not a good tagline to have if you're a delivery company. If we come to your house, you pull a gun on us, we're going to shoot you. Or for any reason. Shooting customers has never been a positive sign. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe times have changed. I'm old school. Speaking of Uber, the drama continues. A driver was arrested in Atlanta after he sexually assaulted a passenger he has just dropped off. Once again, I've been talking about these rideshare services, and I just still feel like they haven't been tested enough. I think there has to be more done to protect the public and the drivers. So I'm just putting the word out to Uber and Instacart and all the rest of them. This is going to be the future. This is the wave of the future. I'm not saying abandon these ideas, because obviously people like it, but we've got to find a way to make it safer. I'm just saying. Well, this is graduation season, boy, and with graduation comes all type of drama. Morehouse students are kind of on hold right now. They're kind of reserving their comments, or they're not sure what's going to happen, but President Biden is coming to Morehouse to give the commencement graduation speech. And they're saying right now that if the students follow through on their threats of disrupting it, they're going to call the speech off. The school has put the school and the attendees on notice. If you disrupt this speech, we're going to take Mr. Biden off the stage. Well, I guess that's the whole idea behind disrupting. I'm not sure they probably should have made that announcement, because now, of course, you dare somebody to do something, isn't that what they're going to do? So I got a feeling that President Biden is going to have about a 5-minute speech of that much, and there will probably be disruption. I hope it doesn't. I think that what's happening, the students are protesting the president's unwavering support for Israel in the Gaza, Hamas, and Israeli war that's going on. Right now, there's been 35,000 plus people have died, most of them women and children, and there's been protests all over the country. It's been very acute in the Black community as well, and particularly the young people. They're not feeling this at all. They've been watching these videos on Instagram This guy, what's his name? Can't think of his name. He started out on Instagram. He got banned, but the videos are still out there. And so this has been and continue to be a problem for the Biden administration and for anybody who's trying to give a speech these days. Speaking of, on the same vein, the ambassador, the UN ambassador, it's Linda Thomas Greenfield. She's that lady you've been seeing whenever they try to they pass a resolution against Israel, and then there's that video. She's the one that's been raising her hand. Well, students haven't forgotten her either. So Xavier University of Louisiana has become the second school to cancel her as the commencement address speaker. They had extended the invitation, and because the students got really ticked off about it, they withdrew the offer. So this has happened to her twice. Man, this is tough. Now, I know Miss Greenfield, I'm not sure what her personal beliefs are, but she's probably just doing the bidding of the administration. And that's what happens when you take these positions. You're not really, I'm gonna tell you what, if I felt that strongly about it, against it, then I would probably have to resign, like many people have done. So when you take these positions and you're going to be the spokesperson or the figurehead, it should align with your beliefs. If not, you shouldn't do it, period. So if she believes that veto she's been doing for the past, since October, then the students will have every right to be against her appearance. If she doesn't believe it, then she probably should not hang on to the position. So the bottom line is, what's your purpose? What are you on this earth to do? And does your job and position align with what you've been called on to do? Well. I just wish they would just end this whole thing over there. Just call it, end the war. Let's get back to these other issues that's taking place in this country. Let's see, what else is going on? In Prince George's County, now this is an interesting story. I'm just curious on people's take on this. A teacher is under fire for asking female students to unbraid his hair. So this young man here, I think he's about 30 years old. He's also a TikToker, and he was about to go to get his hair, I guess, rebraided. He had an appointment, but the students, the way he tells it, the students said, look, you can't go to the other place until you take the braids out of the hair, the braids you already have in your head. So the students volunteered to take the braids out of his head, and he put it on his TikTok, where he asked his 650,000 followers to comment. Well, of course, the comments didn't go exactly the way he wanted, and the video made its way over to Twitter, which is now X, and that's where really he got in trouble, because the people over there wasn't feeling it at all. Well, he's under fire, and some people have said he's been fired or he's under fire. Whatever the case may be, he's in trouble. That's what I think. I'm going to put on my psychotherapist hat just for a second. I think this is a teachable moment for that young man. Whether he should get fired or not, I'm not 100% sure I want him to get fired, but this should be a teachable moment. There's such a thing called boundaries. Even though his intentions could have been innocuous, they could have been non-sexual, they could have been just a guy that's trying to bond with his students. I get that. As an educator, I get that. But there is a thing called boundaries, and boundaries do matter. Because if you are let's say he's not as clean cut, or he's not as innocent, and he's, let's say, grooming. When you're dealing with malleable minds of a minor, there is such a thing as grooming, whereas you gradually take these steps. One day I'm unbraiding your hair, the next day I'm giving you a massage, and you keep escalating. And so what he doesn't want to do is put himself in that position that it doesn't pass the smell test or the look test, in my opinion. So I know there's a shortage, there's a dearth of young black male teachers. I get that too. But this is not the way to increase that number by having your students to unbraid your hair. I'm just saying. I'd be interested in your thoughts as well. Let's see what else is going on. Boy, the news. Walmart market value has topped $500 billion. That's a lot of money. They're trying to fight off Amazon, who's seen a 12% revenue growth last year. So they're a little concerned because Walmart only grew 6%. That's still a lot of money. McDonald's they're about to launch a $5 menu because people have been complaining about the food costs so much. So they're announcing this $5 meal to help get the sales back up. Well, of course, the deal is come under scrutiny because, first of all, it doesn't kick in until June. And how would I know? Well, let's say the munchies hit me yesterday. Had a couple of coins in my pocket, probably about $5. So I'm gonna leave my credit card home. I'm just gonna take this $5 and ride up to McDonald's and get me a quick meal. Well, I ride up there. I didn't get in the line. I kind of rode. You know how you can ride past and look at the menu because usually they have a special. You can see it on the menu on the board. I saw no board, so I came back, rolled over, looked at my app, looked at my news, and I found out, like many, that the deal doesn't kick off until June. And the other reason people are complaining about it is because it's only going to be for the month of June. It's only going to be a 1 month promotion, and it's not a permanent discount. But McDonald's, I understand what you're trying to do, but after a while, people are going to see this exactly what it is. It's a money grab to get more customers. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in a moment. We're going to talk about relationships. It's not business, it's personal. It's not the business side of you that's going to get that client to stick around and spend all this money with you. It's the person. It's personal. So what I want you to do is hang on a second. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we'll be back in a minute. So hang on. Don't you go anywhere.
One cup of greens per day will lower your risk of dying from heart attack or stroke by 30%. Hallelujah. A half a cup of beans every day will drop you down by another 30% because of the fiber and the medicines in the beans will sweep away the cholesterol and the saturated fat. Half a cup of berries per day with all of the antioxidants and flavonoids will drop your risk down. And then finally, 1/4 of a cup of nuts and seeds every day will drop your risk down by 33%. You simply eat those foods every single day and take everything else away that's destroying you. And we could eradicate heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. Glory! Hallelujah.
Register today and get ready for your health revolution.
Oh, we're back. I was over here jamming to the beat. That music, by the way, was produced by my brother and myself, Daniel Gatewood, and yours truly, Robert Gatewood. We actually wrote that music at the studio of Gatewood Productions down in Albemarle, North Carolina. I do have a background in music. Been playing music most of my life. Played in the high school band, the concert band, the marching band in college. Play several instruments, guitar, piano, baritone, horn, saxophone, a few instruments. And that's really how I paid my way through college. Went to school on a full scholarship at Livingstone College. Good old Livingstone. Let's talk about relationships. If you are not building relationships and nurturing those relationships, you are missing out. I'm going to tell you the secret sauce of business success. I know you think it's the nicest website or the best product or the best mousetrap or the nice uniform or how many followers you have on Facebook, how many likes you get, how many shares. All that stuff is good. I'm about to save you a bunch of headache and help you make some money if you just take this simple advice. And there are many people on this feed today know I'm telling the truth because they are right there with me. It comes down to relationships. And sometimes those relationships is not the person you see on you. I see a lot of folks on social media. They got somebody on their website, their arm all around them. They're out at the basketball game together, hitting golf. That's good, but sometimes the people that are truly, when you have those true relationships with, they might not be on your page at all. They could be behind the scenes. They could be somebody who just in your corner. But let me tell you some of the fundamentals of a relationship. First of all, you have to get them. You have to build them. You have to nurture them. And what you don't want to do is be jumping from one person and one entity or one organization to the next every 5 minutes. Because relationships take time. I saw you using the story of FAMU. That was not a good relationship. They broke all the rules. So the first rule is to build trust. Trust is the foundation of any successful relationship. You build a trust through communication, transparency, and just doing the right thing. That's one thing I just feel good about when I'm dealing with my clients. And they tell me this. I'm not just making this up. They say, I trust you. So when I tell them to do a certain thing, advertise in a certain place, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to be correct 100% of the time, but the fact that they trust me makes me try that much harder. Collaboration is a plank in the trust platform. Collaboration and teamwork. Relationships are built on collaboration, working together. Networking, referring each other, supporting each other, going to each other's events, getting to know each other. Those are foundational aspects of relationships. Loyalty. I can't mention the word loyalty without thinking about my good buddy, Joe Madison. Joe Madison passed away on January 31st, 2024. Joe and I had worked together for 20 plus years, and he was a big fan of loyalty in relationships. And loyalty is, you got to earn that loyalty now. Just don't be loyal to somebody just because they do a good job, or, I mean, it's that entire collection of things of that relationship, the trust, the collaboration, the teamwork, the networking ability. I remember I went to Joe's book signing up in New York as part of a networking opportunity. So these are some of the elements of a relationship that is so important. Customer loyalty. I'm telling you something, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I've considered not doing the show anymore because, of course, I do the show. People call me up and they want me to do work for them. But you notice what I've been saying for the last almost a year. I'm not looking for clients right now. That's a crazy thing for a marketing guy to say, right? I'm not, but at the same time, the people with whom I have a relationship, we are full steam ahead. We are out here doing it. And that's what happens when you value relationships and understand how it works. You get to a point where you're not out here beating the bushes every day. And yes, we'll take on clients and we can spread them around with some of my partners and people that I have relationships with. But I'm not actively out here beating the bushes. And then partners, personal growth, that's another part of relationships. Developing opportunities, learning from each other. Now, how do you get this partnership? How do you nurture this relationship? How do you make it work? Let me give you some tips real fast, okay? First one, and this is important, be genuine. People can see through fakeness. Be who you are. Because when you are genuine, you attract similar people. If you're trying to be something else that you're not, you're going to attract people to your fake self. It's going to fall apart. So be genuine. And you want to communicate effectively. Communicate the way they want to communicate. Certain people want you to text them. Some want you to call them. Some want an email. Communicate the way the partnerships, the other person likes to communicate. And I've said this so many times, I'm going to continue to say it. I started it by the end of last year, and I've been beating this drum. Listen actively. If you want to build a relationship, be genuine, communicate, but you have to listen. You're not going to know anything about that person, their likes, their dislikes, what turns them on, what turns them off, their goals and objectives, if you're not listening. Listen. And listen doesn't necessarily mean with your ears always. It means paying attention as well. Observing. Show empathy. Ask for feedback. Here's another one, part of building that relationship. Show appreciation. These things seem pretty simple. And sometimes I know some of you are going to sit there and say, you know what? Gatewood is right. I didn't listen as well as I should have. I maybe have not been as genuine as I should be. I have not communicated as well as I should have. I did not show appreciation as much as I should have. So you can lose a good relationship sometimes by not being grateful. That doesn't mean send me money, or it just means that acknowledging, expressing gratitude. And here's another one. You got to be consistent. You can't be all over the place, because the people not going to know which you is going to show up. So to build these relationships, you need to be genuine, communicate effectively, listen, show appreciation, and be consistent. Now, while it's important to build these relationships, it's also important to realize you can't be jumping all over the place. It's hard, I know. Because sometimes now the steps I just gave you, if you follow those steps, you're on your way to building and identifying people with whom you can build these relationships. If you're consistent, if you're genuine. But once you've established that this person is trustworthy, genuine, consistent, they communicate well with you, they listen effectively, then you can't be so quick to dismiss them over disagreements or some perceived slight. I had to learn this one. And anybody who knows me, the people that are around me have been around me a long time. People always ask me, why don't you fire this person who did this? Because I trust them. They're consistent. They may have messed up, but they've messed up before, and I know. I almost know when they're going to mess up. I know how serious it's going to be because we have a relationship. They communicate. They're transparent. They're genuine. So you built these relationships, and sometimes we, like I say, we're a little quick to pull the trigger. So what you may want to do, think about this before you go jumping off the deep end, but over some slight. Remember that the person that you built this relationship is somebody that you trust, and they have credibility with you. It takes a while to get that with the next person. We don't have forever. I'm not saying hang around somebody who's just totally screwing you up or screwing you over, but talk. We talked about communicating. We talked about listening. So you go to the next person. You got to go through this whole trust and credibility again. The next person that comes along, there's a lack of depth. You don't have the history. Now, some cases you might not want that history if it's a bad history, but I'm not saying don't end relationships. Don't read that from what I'm saying. I'm saying don't be so quick to do it, because starting over can be hard. Okay, because now you've gone out and kick this person to the curb who's pretty much served you. You trust them. They're credible. They're genuine. They're consistent. Now you're dealing with an unknown entity. And sometimes that person leaves, they take opportunities with them too, because they had you in their pipeline. They were the person that's going to refer certain people to you. Person is going to go to bat for you, going to show up for you. Don't be so fast. But at the same time, I'm not saying don't end relationships. I'm just saying think about it before you jump to the next one and the next one and the next one. Building these business relationships take time. I see some people on this line, people like Bradley Thomas. Yeah. We've been at this thing for, I can't say how long. We support each other. I think in the beginning we had a rocky start, but I trusted him. He established trust, and that trumped just about everything. He's been consistent. We communicate. He's transparent. He's a good person. Is there better attorneys out here? Probably. Bradley might argue about that, but probably. But I'm not looking for a better attorney. I'm looking for somebody I can trust, who I can build a relationship with, has my back. So anyway, take this advice and use it how you please. And just know that if you plan to succeed in business, it's not a solo act. And the person doesn't have to be in the shop with you, helping you bake cookies and cutting hair and helping you fix the pipes. No, these relationships take on many faces. The countenance, they could be a funder, they could be staff, they could be a contractor, they could be an advisor, customer. Many facets of relationships. These takes on many faces. I'm just saying you're going to need these relationships if you're going to succeed in business. And Small Business Month is a good time to evaluate and to put forth a new concentrated effort on building relationships. Don't we go ahead and Mara start handing out business cards on the streets and I'm looking for somebody to have a relationship with. Look through the people you're already working with. See if you can solidify some of those relationships. And some you may decide it's just not worth it. So anyway, that's going to sum it up for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I am here every Friday, 10:30. Bradley Thomas said it may be bigger in terms of firm and size, yes, but better. I don't think so, Brother Thomas. I wholeheartedly agree. We'll be back next week. Also, don't forget to register for the first Friday at BLE Executive Suites. Every first Friday of the month. The next one's going to be June 5th or something like that. Anyway, but look on the calendar. We have it on the website. We had a good one this past month. Looking forward to seeing Mr. Brown, one of the greatest plumbers in town. And I see Colette down Jackson. Miss Dr. Colette Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. And if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk, let's get to work.